welcome to the special coverage of GST on ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups, technology and entrepreneurship. Everybody is talking about India's most ambitious tax reform, GST, which will become a reality on July 1st. But the crucial aspect that's really going to make GST a reality is the GST network, which, remember, is the technology backbone that's not just going to provide IT infra between center and states, but also play a crucial interface between every single person paying indirect taxes. To really understand how prepared we are to cope with the massive invoices that are going to come online, we have the chairman of GST Network joining us this evening, Mr. Navin Kumar. Thank you so much for talking to us. Sir, to begin with, just tell me, what's going through your mind, what's playing on your mind as that June 30th date is approaching. How prepared is the GST Network?
We are fully prepared. You see, we started working on the system in November 2015, so it's been good 18 months while we have been working on it, and during this period we have assembled the entire hardware for the IT system of GST. We have been working on the software, which is 90% complete, and the rest of the work is going to be completed within the next few couple of weeks, and the entire system has been fully tested. You see, there are two prerequisites for rollout of GST. One is the migration of the existing taxpayers of VAT, service tax and central excise and other taxes that are to be subsumed in GST, and the other is to make provision for registering new taxpayers, that is people who are not registered under any of the existing taxes. So on the first, let me tell you that we launched the GST portal in November 2016, and since then we ran a drive for enrolling existing taxpayers for GST, which went up to April 2017, and during this period more than 60 lakh taxpayers out of the 80 lakh existing taxpayers, they enrolled. Then after closing the process in April, we received requests that there are many people left out and they would like to migrate, and therefore we again opened the window between June 1 and 15, and again about 6 lakh enrollments took place. So as of today, more than 80% of the existing taxpayers have already enrolled. So that is one part that is taken care of. But since there is still a gap, between 66 lakhs and 80 lakhs there is a gap, and therefore for them we have started the window again from 25th June. So that is one part. The other part is the new registrations. New registrations, we have also, the application we have rolled out from 25th June, and it is working now, and we already have more than 1 lakh new applications filed on at the GST portal. So this is where we are at the moment. Our system is working smoothly, and we are now making preparations for the rest of the software to be rolled out in a staggered manner.
Right. Sir, I just want to understand, you mentioned that the exercise started from November 2015. There have been multiple efforts since then to really ensure that people migrate to GSTN. But just want to understand, by when do you hope to reach the complete, 80 lakh number, which is, the number of indirect taxpayers? By when do you think that it will go to 100% coverage?
It may not go to 100% coverage because, the threshold turnover over which people are supposed to register under GST is now 20 lakhs.
Right.
Whereas this threshold under VAT was 5 lakhs in most states and 10 lakhs in some states. And under service tax also the threshold was 10 lakhs. So you see, the people between 5 lakhs and 20 lakhs, they are no longer required to register now. So some of these people may not migrate, and they can do business even without migrating. But whoever wishes to migrate, for them our portal will be open for migration for the next 3 months. So they can come whenever they wish and they can do the migration.
Right. Sir, also there are a lot of new sectors that have come under tax coverage, sectors like say sugar, textile, diamonds. How much is that going to help in, really widening the tax base? And the fact that the government has now also come out and deferred the return filing process, will that also increase and widen the tax base going forward?
You are right. Some new sectors have come under tax under GST, and we are expecting that these new taxpayers will register themselves, and that is why during the past 2 days, we started on 25th, we are 28th today. So in the past 3 days, more than 1 lakh applications have already been received at our portal. So normally in a year, the growth should be around 5%. That is the trend that we have studied in the country under VAT or service tax. So 1 lakh in 3 days is quite substantial. So I think these are the new taxpayers coming to register themselves under these new sectors which have been brought under tax.
Right. Mr. Kumar, Infosys CEO Vishal Sikka last week described this as the biggest tax project in the world. So, as someone really heading the technology infrastructure for this, take us through the war room that GSTN has really built in the last 3-4 years in terms of the investment till date, the number of people working in your war room, and the number of government officials also you've had to train in the whole GST regime.
Yes, you see, we have built this organization. Our company was set up, registered in March 2013. Right. So over the past 4 years, we have been building the organization. We have, taken people from the IT sector, professionals from the market. We have taken, tax experts from the government on deputation, and these people have been working in the company and working side by side with the IT partner Infosys to develop the system. So we are a small organization, but we have very deep expertise both in IT and taxation domain.
Right. Mr. Kumar, I also read somewhere that, there was no time to really beta test some of the changes made in the system after the new rules were brought in. The last time a test was done of the software was in December last year. So should that really worry people, the fact that there was no time, to beta test how this whole thing will work out?
It's good that you have asked this question, because, the impression that has been created by a particular news item is absolutely wrong. We have conducted full testing of all the hardware and software that has been deployed and that will be deployed. So if for a normal large IT system, the type of tests which have to be conducted mandatorily are the unit testing, the system integration testing, and the user acceptance testing. We have done all of that. Not only that, we have also conducted a beta testing, which is normally known as dry run, with actual users, that is actual taxpayers who would be using the system. In addition to this, for the entire system, the load testing, performance testing, and security testing has also been carried out. So whatever kind of tests were required have been conducted, and the news item which gave this impression that there is no time for software testing, that is absolutely wrong. Full testing has been conducted, and our system is very, very stable.
Right. Good to hear that, Mr. Navin Kumar, because I think that did set off some concerns that, this is not even beta tested, but good that you clarified that aspect. I hope it will reassure a lot of people. But, sir, this is a humongous number, 80 lakh tax payers. I know you said some of them, all of them may not register, but the estimate is that you will have to deal with about over 3 billion invoices every month. So is the system really prepared to tackle that kind of load?
Indeed. You see, when we started designing the system at that time, the question before us was, how do we size the system? What kind of load we should indicate to the IT partner so that the system could be architected to handle that kind of load. So we went around and looked at the invoice level data that was being taken by some of the states who had started taking invoice data in their returns in anticipation of GST. So we found that the number of invoices generated per month per dealer was of the order of 127. That was the average number. And so we decided to build a lot of redundancy. So we have based our estimation on the 400 invoices per dealer per month. So you see the 3 times the invoices being generated generally in the VAT system. So you can understand the kind of redundancy we have built.
Right.
And when we calculate, see, we designed the storage on this basis. To design to estimate the compute capacity, we have taken double the requirement for this kind of a load. So you see, we have built enough redundancies to take care of the entire load.
Right. But Mr. Kumar, the last time, there was a heavy rush mid-June. I think there was some evidence of a strain on the system. So again, what lessons did you take away from that to ensure that, does not happen once the full-fledged rollout takes place?
You see that when we started the enrollment, at that time our own infrastructure, the hardware was not ready. So we had rented a hardware, and that was not as large or as robust as the system that we have designed now. Now this entire system has been transferred to our own production infrastructure, which is working now. And if you can go to the website and work on it, you will feel the difference. It is very fast, very responsive, and it is very robust.
Right. But Mr. Kumar, would you have hoped for more time to, build a more complete, robust GSTN? Because you've had a very challenging task of, tweaking hardware, software as the rules kept changing, and all the rules, everything has been firmed up only in the last fortnight, only in the last month. So would you perhaps have hoped for more time?
You see, one would always like to have more time. But the point here is that, all large IT systems have to handle this kind of situation. We have been working against a moving target. When we started out, there were only, draft business processes. The law was not there. Then the law came, so we modified our system based on that. And then the law was revised, and the revised rules came in December. So we based the actual final development of the software based on December, rules. And when the new rules came, then we compared it with the rules that we had earlier. We found that the changes were not very many. Right. So we have incorporated those changes in our system, and we are deploying the system with all the changes. So it has been tough. It has been very challenging, but I must thank our team and I must thank our IT partner that we have been up to it and we have met the challenge.
Right. In terms of the process, September timeframe is when companies, businessmen will start filing returns. So tell us what will happen on June 30th and July 1st from a GSTN perspective. What should we look forward to?
See, June 30th, let me tell you what is going to happen after July 1. So in the month of July, we are opening the facility for uploading the invoice data from 15th of July. And we would be releasing our offline tool also at that time. And in preparation for that, that offline tool has an Excel sheet attached to it in which all the invoice data is to be filled by the taxpayers. This Excel sheet we are going to release by the end of this month, so that people can, look at it and familiarize themselves with the format of the form. So in July, from 15th of July, the invoice uploading can begin. Just to tell you, not everybody is required to upload the invoice data. It is only business to business transactions that have to be reported at the invoice level. And our offline tool can be used for that. Very small entities who have only say 200, 300 invoices can come to directly at our portal and punch the data over there. But if you have 5,000 invoices in a month or 15 or 50,000 invoices, then you must use the offline utility. So in July, this will be the activity. The law, according to law, the return for a particular month is to be submitted between 1st and 20th of the next month. But we are providing this utility earlier, hoping that the big businesses who generate very large number of invoices, they should not wait until the date of filing return to upload their invoice data, but they should use the offline utility to upload their data even during the month when the transactions are taking place. So this is for July, this is our program. In August, what will happen? The returns are not to be filed in August. You know that the returns will come only in September.
Right.
But In August, a summary return is to be filed. That will be on 20th of August. So we will open that window probably from 15th of August, so that people can file their those summary returns by 20th. So in August, that is the activity. The real action will begin from September, when the returns start getting filed. So that is the time schedule for the next 2 months.
Right. Is there a worst case scenario that you are building into all this, sir? Because people are a little concerned that perhaps the first 3 months is going to be the most crucial, might lead to some confusion, some disruption. So what are you factoring in there?
I don't think there should be any disruption or any problem, because you see, let us look at the type of taxpayers that we will be having. People above 20 lakhs, they have to register. But if their turnover is up to 75 lakhs, they can opt for the composition scheme. The composition scheme taxpayers have to file a very summary return. They only give their total turnover in a month and the tax payable on that. That's all. So that's very simple. Now, if you look at the other taxpayers who are SME in the SME category but who do not opt for composition scheme, they can have two kinds of transactions. One transaction will be business to consumer transactions. There also they don't have to give the invoice data. They have only to give summary turnover data. Only where they are selling to another business, those business invoices are to be uploaded, for which the offline tool is there. So for these small taxpayers, SMEs, I don't think there is any problem. The process will be very simple, and you must let me also tell you that unlike filing of return under the existing taxes of service tax or VAT, where you have to provide data both for your sales and your purchases, here you have to give only sales data, only the invoice data, and the purchase data will be populated in your purchase register by our system, taking the data from your sellers' returns. So the process is going to be very simple.
Right. So in terms of GSTN's own revenue stream, you have said that you're not going to charge the users, but it's going to come from the central and state government. Will that continue to be the case? Will you look at expanding the scope of revenue to, make GSTN more sustainable, considering it's a non-profit, equal partnership thing between the government and the private sector?
You see, the government has decided that we will be raising bills based on the number of taxpayers and tax officers using our system, but the bills will not be charged to the taxpayers, but the governments will pay to us, and the bill will be split between the central government and the state governments, and they will make payment on behalf of the actual users. So that is the system now, and I think that is how it will remain for the in the foreseeable future.
Right. So GSTN is also going to generate, lots and lots of data, treasure trove of data that is going to help policymakers, make more informed decisions about the economy. So, how will you really collaborate with, say, the likes of the Income Tax Department, the RBI, going forward in sharing some of this data, sharing some of this economic activity to help them make better decisions?
See, the data that we have, that we'll be getting from the taxpayers, that data does not belong to the GSTN. The data belongs to the respective governments, the state governments and the central governments. So the way they want to use this data, we will be taking it forward from there. So I think it is on the cards that business analytics will be carried out based on this data, but how that will be done, it will depend on what the GST Council decides to use this data for. But you are right, this data can be a minefield for good planning in the country. It can give a lot of valuable information for of various sectors. So it is up to the government, they will decide how this data is to be used, and we will provide all the services for making data available for that kind of use.
Right. So, two issues that have constantly been an overhang as far as GSTN is concerned is the ownership structure, because some people feel that, private sector owning 51% could be detrimental. How will you address these concerns? There have also been calls for a CAG audit. How will you really address these concerns going forward to really strengthen the credibility of GSTN?
I don't see any issue over here. You see, this is a company where government has 49% equity and 51% is with private institutions. Here, no decision can be taken in which government doesn't concur, because if the government directors don't concur, it is difficult to take a decision. But the point here is, being a non-government private institution gives us a flexibility in decision making, in day-to-day functions, in designing the structure of the organization, independence of management. So these are some of the fruits of this kind of structure that we enjoy, and I think that is a very good and very intelligently crafted structure, and this is very good for the system, and that this helps us to, it would help us to run this mammoth complex IT system in a very efficient manner.
Right. So the other issue, of course, that everybody is concerned across sectors, across countries is, cybersecurity. There's been a ransomware attack even yesterday worldwide. So, considering GSTN is an open architecture platform, you have allowed the Suvidha providers to, build apps on top of the platform. How much of a concern is cybersecurity? How are you really insulating GSTN from these external attacks? Because the minefield of data that you have, the information that you have, is an attractive target for hackers, for external agencies. So how are you going to insulate GSTN from all this?
See, security has been a prime consideration for us right from the beginning. Even when we drafted the RFP for selecting the IT partner, we had a specific section on security requirements. You see, our system, this entire infrastructure that has been built, this is going to be ISO 27001 certified. The ISO 27001 is the best known standard for information security management system. So that will take care that we have brought in all the security features in our system. So we have adopted a layered security structure where we provide security not only at the physical and perimeter level, but also at the level of the network, at the level of the application, at the level of the data, and also while writing the code, secure coding practices are adopted. So we have taken care of the security aspect thoroughly. We have also established a security operations center which is running 24/7 by 365. This center keeps an eye over the entire traffic coming to our system or leaving our system, and if there is any suspicious activity, they would raise an alarm and mitigating action would be taken. I may also tell you that the recent outbreaks of malware like WannaCry, and the recent one which has come, which has affected systems, world over, we are secure from that. We have checked our systems, everything is secure, and we see our system is based on Linux platform. That is not affected by these malware which have recently come, which are basically attacking the Windows platform systems. So we are quite safe, our data is absolutely safe.
Right. Finally, Mr. Navin Kumar, I read somewhere that the entire GSTN team is working 28 hours a day, that this is a very stressful time. So when are you looking forward to a good night's sleep? Will that come only in September, October?
Yeah, after October, not before that.
Not before that. So it's still going to be 28 hours a day for you?
Yeah, it is, because the system that we have built, it is now slowly blossoming into a full system, and we have to look after all the aspects. We have to ensure that the users have a good experience on our system, that the system performs efficiently, that the data is kept secure, and we are able to deliver the expectations of the GST Council and all the governments. So it's a big challenge, it's a big responsibility, and that fuels this 28-hour the energy for meeting this 28-hour deadline every day.
Right. May that energy continue, sir. But on that note, thank you so much for talking to ET Now. Here's wishing you the very best for that ambitious rollout.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/ETNow.